most people leave because they don't feel cared about, not because of the commission splits.
You can't put the time and energy into doing this. You don't need to have a team, right?
Absolutely.
Like you just got friends that hang out.
All right, Brad Allen. So you have led a lot of teams and watched a lot of teams succeed and not succeed. What's the cadence of meetings that a team needs to have? So if you look at like over a year, like break it down for us, because I think most people don't understand like what kind of meetings, what kind of things do they need to do throughout the year to keep their team going. So you can go, annual, then break it down that way, or start small and go big. But like, what are the meetings that they need to have, like the coaching schedules, things like that work for teams the best?
Yeah, I think the main thing with any meeting, I don't care what it is, it's got to be good. And so I look at my meetings like it's my showtime. Like this is my time on stage. I'm standing in front of my agents, supposed to be the leader, right? Supposed to be the one that knows a lot, not everything. And if I'm just getting up there and spouting crap off that is just redundant or bringing vendors through, you're going to lose them. That was my previous brokerages when I was, with different companies before I had our own stuff. And guys, it's mind numbing. You lose your people, you lose their interest, you lose their loyalty, you lose a lot of things. So that's first and foremost. You could have it every week if you wanted one, not my style. So I've broken ours down. I found a good cadence over the last 20 years, and I've tried it just about every other way, right? We are a team, so we run our things just a little bit differently. And so we do I'd start backwards, 2 main events a year. Fall, we do a fall planning for business, and then spring, we do a spring training. So I do those. Those are the main ones I can dive into. And then I do a monthly one. And there's another thing I need to tell people about meetings where you will lose your people. You cannot move that date. You can't move it. You can't cancel it. You can't shorten it. You can't nothing. As soon as you say we're having a 3-hour meeting and it goes an hour, the next month, everybody's going to start booking something an hour and a half after you start, and you've got a 3-hour meeting. Like this has to be your religion, your Bible. This has to be your North Star. Like you can't come off of this. That's my 2 cents. So yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think that having like so walk us through this. So and if you're watching this, you probably need to get out your next year calendar and map these out in advance, get them on the calendar, dialed in. But I think a lot of people don't know what meetings and things they need to have. They're doing a lot reactively. So I like what you're saying. So I want to hear like what do you do for those 2 annual meetings? And then walk us through like how you set up your monthly meeting.
Yeah. So the fall meeting is our business planning. I don't do business planning in December or November or October. We're going to do it in September. And preceding that is August. We have our leadership meeting where we pull out the calendar for next year. Yeah, we're 4 months ahead. I get it, nerd style. But here's the thing. You've got to have those dates so you can tell your people so it's on the calendar for next year. That's my 2 cents. So, okay, my fall business planning, I usually bring somebody in. Typically, Wayne will come in. He has a whole cadence on kind of an epic life planner is what you call it. We've used that several times. But I want agents to really take a reflection down memory lane. So 1-day events, it's during the same day that our team meetings every second Tuesday of the month. There's some fluctuation, but it's fluctuated on the calendar a year in advance. It's not like, oh, we're going to change it this month to this, like it's set. So a couple things. I want to get on memory lane. Where'd your deals come from? How'd you feel about those sources of business? What did you like about the ones that you got that are like one-offs? Like what did you get from internet? Did you get them from cold calling? Like what did you enjoy? And what are you trying to do differently next year? And then Wayne, your Epic Life Planner is amazing because it goes through and goes, well, what do you want your business to come from? And how are those 3 sources? And what are the things you need to do to get those sources? So that's been instrumental because I think we've had you do it 4 or 5 times for us. And
and how much does it help you coach your people when you have somewhat of a process you're walking through? So every year we wing it. Every year is like, hey, it's almost the end of December. Everybody email me your goals, right? And I'm being a little sarcastic, but not really. I mean, some teams don't even do that much. And then they're like, I'm having a hard time leading my team. And I'm like, cool, what are their goals? They're like, well, I told them we needed to do 200 transactions. And I was like,
yep.
There's so much fuckrockery going on here. Like, I don't even know how to unwind this. But yeah, so I love that. Like, we do this twice a year. People get in that cadence. And I love that you're doing the kind of like this, a similar thing. Obviously, we change it. We make things fun. But like, and then you're able to meet people like, all right, what are your 3 funnels? Cool. What are your activities? And like, you're creating, I think, a common language that allows you to move faster and allows everyone to get on the same page.
Well, yes. And it reminds them where their business came from because so many people want to try new shiny stuff. Like, I want to be an influencer next year. And you're like, not one deal. You actually don't even have a Facebook page. Like, we can do that, but like, let's do like 10%, right? Like, yes. But you got half your business from, volunteering at the pet shelter. Bro, keep going. Like, make time. Let's do that in the calendar. Like, that serves your soul. So, But the other thing I think it does too, and this is where a lot of I learned a hard lesson about deals. I need my agents' goals, so I see how they stack up with my goals. And so if I want to do 350 deals this year, because that's what we want to do on budget and everything else, and all of my agents add up to 200 deals, then I can't whip another 150 out of them. I've got to get another lead source, or I got to get more people to do my lead source, or back down my expectations. So that gives me time to adjust. But again, the reason we do it in September is you have a whole quarter. So use the social media again. They have a whole quarter to test, try, learn, get in front of people. I can connect them with people, and they have a whole quarter to try, because I'll be damned. January 1st, new year, new me, let's go. We're not trying to figure it out. We got the plan, we got the path, and like gas pedal down.
Yeah.
Not.
And I love you saying that, because you get a couple months to get their stuff put together and get dialed in, test out, whatever. And then in November and the first part of December, you're actually able to get in momentum, so that in January we're already in lift. Not like, oh, January 2nd, now we need to like figure out what we're going to do. So you're having a plan to get your agents in lift and in momentum going into the year. And then why do you do the mid-year one as well? What's the other one you do?
Yeah, so we do spring training. So I'm not a huge baseball fan, to believe it or not, but I'm a huge American. So I guess we got to go with our pastime. So I'll say we do spring training because we'd like to do it in February. The reason February is it's still decently slow for us per our calendar where we operate, but it's reminding the agents, hey, we're going back in the selling season. Here's what this year should look like per the stats. But also, when you get a listing, here's a listing presentation. Here's what I would say. Hey, when you get a listing, don't forget, here's how you turn it in. Hey, when you get a listing, don't forget, we only list on Tuesdays and Fridays. So it's like baseball, where they go to Florida, they literally throw the ball for a week just to get warmed up, get going. They're professional baseball players. They know how to play the game, but you got to get them back. Now it's focused, and now it's off to the races. So that's why we do it, because it gets us pumped up before the selling season. And it allows our agents to start like looking at the events, inviting their people, do stuff like that. So it's really a shift like, hey, winter's over. Let's go. Time to sell. Let's get after.
Yeah, I love that. And one little thing in there you said that I really like too is like they go back to the basics, right? It's like they go back to the fundamentals, right? Throw the ball, catch the ball, throw the ball, catch, right? They're not there to like learn 17 new moves, right?
Correct.
A lot oftentimes it's like, hey, let's master these. Let's remember what we were doing. Let's tweak it a little bit. But I think sometimes the team feels like they always have to have something new and shiny.
Yeah.
And sometimes the best thing you can do is get your team back to the basics and go, all right, we're going to give buyer presentations. And somebody's like, I've done this 7,000 times. Like, cool, right? Like, we're doing it again, right? We're getting better. By the way, it's a different market.
Correct.
It's a different season, different objections. But like, we're going to sit down and we're doing buyer presentations, and we're just we're going to do it. So I love that you're doing that. So you've got those two big ones throughout the year. People can plan for them. They can see them. Your team knows to prepare for them. All those things are good. And then you also do a monthly meeting as well. Like you said, you keep that consistent. If you got to move it a little bit, there's a holiday or something that you didn't expect, like you're pretty consistent. You lay out for the year every month, and it is not 10 minutes.
No. So yeah, usually the second Tuesday, but again, we'll know in a year in advance if it's like the second Tuesday is the 4th of July. That wouldn't make sense. Something, right? We know that we're not going to be in the office.
What day is the 4th of July? I always forget.
It's because I'm a big American. I know when the 4th of July is, but it's definitely never going to be the second Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I like that because they know in advance, it's on their calendars. They know it's on their calendars in our fall meeting. We're going to put it there. But that also, I mean, I know how much I travel, right? My travel does not intersect with, I think I've missed 2 team meetings as a leader in 10 years. Like, I don't miss them, and they're not Zoom in. Well, I do have some. So let's go back to that. Second Tuesday, mine go from 9:30 to noon. That's why I tell my people to block off. Couple rules: no vendors, none, unless they are like maybe a sponsor vendor, or if I need them to come teach something. Like, here's how you read the new termite inspection letter, or, hey, here's what's going on legitimately with roofs right now and real estate. And if they're over 10 years old, how does a roofer look at it? Like, what can we know to kind of, so they can come in if they teach, but they're selected by me. They're not lenders that come in and go, the interest rates are this, and we do FHA loans. You're like, nah, bro, not happening. Get out. But we make it an event. 9:30 it starts, but we got Chick-fil-A, we got biscuits, we got chicken minis, we got Chick-fil-A sauce, like middle schoolers dream, right? So you got to make sure that you have something.
American. I give you a green card right now. You know what I mean?
So again, make it an event, but also have an agenda. So typically our agenda starts out with, we go over our mission and vision. I go over the mission and vision just to reiterate it, because what's the point of it if you don't have it? And you talk about it. I'm like, guys, does this still make sense to y'all? Cool. We go over our culture code. It's sort of cultish, but like, we have a culture code of like, you want to work here, that's what you agree to, and everybody. So we remind ourselves. And then we go over at least like 2 training topics. I try and pull in some of my agents if they're like specifically good at something. I don't want to be the only one up there preaching. And I go over market stats. You can pull them offline. You can pull them off your MLS. Sometimes it's just articles. Like right now, I'd be going over private listings. How's the math looking on that? Stuff like that. So the agents like it because when I do the market stats, I'm not just regurgitating numbers to them. I'm giving talking points if they're at cocktail parties. So somebody comes up, how's the market? Good. Well, actually, Steve, I know you're a big wig. Like your house is over $1 million. So like, dude, the market's good up there. Like we're having multiple offers over, they're getting 110% of their asking price. But your daughter who's selling her $200,000 house, there's a lot of inventory. There's like 6 months inventory. So like now you have these little nuggets that you can play in to be the professional. So again, I'm giving them the words, hopefully, or the nuggets that they can regurgitate to look intelligent, to speak intelligent, and to gain trust.
Yeah. What was your defining factor over doing a weekly team meeting to doing a monthly team meeting? Was it the size of the team? Was it convenience? Was it results? Like what kind of, I'm sure you've seen all the different ways.
Yeah. One, it's time. Because if you're doing it correctly, and I don't mean to throw shade at anybody, but that's a 2-hour event each week. So you've got 30 people, 60 hours worth of production time each week that nothing's happening. Plus I've got a plan. I've got to come up with stuff. My staff's got to come up with stuff. Like it was just eating into time. And I was like, maybe less is better. And they'll show up like, and let me tell you a little 4-letter word I like to use, mandatory. Like, I don't give a shit who you are or what you believe. I'll go to the Supreme Court on this shit. It is mandatory to be here unless your kid's sick or you got the hot poops. That's the only one. Like nobody wants you to
unless it involves lights, right? Like ambulance, fire truck, or police, right? Unless it involves lights, you need to be here. Yes.
And I always tell my agents, find a second babysitter for those days. Like that's how serious I am. And we start on time, but because it's just disrespectful. And it's awesome now. And I don't whip and bow people, but like my staff and agents, my teammates, actually a better way of putting it, we respect each other. Like they're all in their seats like 5 to 10 minutes early because they got there for breakfast and like they're just chit chatting. And I very rarely, I might have like a person come in late once in a while, but like we're all there. I'm like, oh, we'll start early. Not because I'm belittling them, but like it's the common respect. They know everybody else is there. And that's what you have to breathe. That's the line you have to hold on these things. And you have to ask people like, why weren't you there? What happened? And you got to let the group know. Like, yeah, so-and-so's on vacation. So-and-so's sick. I don't know where so-and-so is, but I will address it. Like that's just what you got to do sometimes.
So good. But the second piece I want to move into is what is your cadence with operations? So when you look at like the meetings you have with your primarily, and I know you have different companies, but primarily with the real estate side, what's the cadence of meetings you have on a monthly or weekly basis?
Yeah. So one, they're in our team meetings, even though they're in the back, probably working, to be honest with you, but they're there. They get to hear it. They got questions. No throwing staff under the bus. They're going to be in front of you.
Right.
But ultimately our in-person staff works in one big workspace. So not a whole lot. We do every other week. We call it a leadership meeting for an hour, but that's also 20 years of processes and plans and stuff like that. Now, side note, I've got a full VA content team like that are awesome. And right now, since my right-hand woman is on maternity leave, I meet with them every morning at 8:30 for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was like too much in my mind, but I did it for about 2 weeks. And I asked them, and they're not people please. They're not going to say something just to make me happy. And I was like, is this helpful to y'all? And they're like, yes, because we get your undivided attention. We bring up the things we're working on. Hey, you didn't get us the video. You didn't get us this. You didn't get us that. And so I can't be the reason they can't get their job done. So I would say stand-up huddles would be more for staff and staff people than agents. I'm not a leads-based team. Like we have a lot of leads, but that's not my whole thing. And I could see how somebody that's mainly leads would have a huddle every day because you're a telemarketing company at that point. Like everybody get in here, let's do a rah-rah speech, go sell solar panels or go sell leads, whatever it is. So I could see that working for some. That's just not my cadence.
Well, and I think one of the reasons why you don't have to have 1,000 meetings is because you have pretty good tracking at this point, right? So if you want to see if somebody been onboarded, you can see that. If you want to see who came in this week, you can see it. If you want to see where you're so you have really good tracking. I think that sometimes we over meeting because we're under scoreboarding, because we don't have a way to track it. We don't have a way to see it. So we're just having endless meetings. And I think that could be a problem.
Yeah.
But I would say that look at where the frustration points are and then decide what you need to do. And you definitely need to have conversations, have agendas for those meetings, everything else you're doing. So that would be team. The third category would be what's your cadence with individual agents? So are you meeting with them? Is it the same for every single person? Do you do it different for people? What's kind of your cadence for meeting with them, yearly, monthly, weekly, daily?
I will tell you, it's a chore in a good way, right? Like it is a chunk of time on my calendar. So if you're brand new to our company, like brand new, 5-week initial onboarding, we're meeting weekly. After that, now it's very succinct. It's a reason. It's on a Friday. You have all week to get your work done, like your task, and then we just talk about them. So you get one-on-one time, but they're not pecking me to death or my staff, but they can. But like it's good. Then they go bi-weekly until they're 6 months. Because once they come through the first 5 weeks, like I know how to write a contract now. Cool. But I don't know what to do now. And so it just lets me like be in front of them, see what they're having problems with. What are they hung up with? Who can I connect them with? It's worth the investment to me. My hourly rate's pretty expensive, to be honest with you. Theirs is not. And a lot of them won't make it to being super successful real estate agents, and they might peter out. But if I'm going to bring somebody on and believe that they have the opportunity to change their life's trajectory and their family's dynamic, then I owe them an hour every other week to see what's really going on and cut that out real quick. If they're just like, yeah, I didn't do anything this week. I laid on the couch. Other than them being depressed, why'd you do that? Well, I didn't have anything to do. Well, we have all this stuff. Like, okay, cool. I'm cutting that one out because I ain't got time for it. So I think that's how we don't pick up people that don't really jive with our team and kind of bring us down, because we'll kick them out. And then after 6 months, it's monthly for everybody. And I meet 30 minutes to an hour, depends on the agent. And it's interesting. We just went from a independent brokerage to an EXP team. And one of the main questions, and I never know if my agents like this or they feel like they're getting called to the principal's office, but they're like, do we still get to do our one-on-ones? I'm like, yeah. They're like, good. That's what we're worried about. I'm like, okay. I take that as a badge of honor.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
But I'm not in there. We're not, again, some of our agents do leads, and I'll tell you those meetings, but I'm not looking at KPIs. Now, what I'll look at is I'll go, hey, this quarter looks a lot better than the last quarter this first quarter this year looks a lot better than your last first quarter. Like, what changed? Like, how do you feel about it? What's stuck? And so, again, people's lives change, pregnancies, divorce, like they tell me about this stuff. Like, how can I support you? So it doesn't really come down to like sales. Now it can sometimes, but it's just like, hey, I'm having a hard time at the house. I got a second kid. I don't know how to figure this shit out. Like, what do I do? And we work on a plan, time blocking maybe. And that sounds very general, but like I just had that happen with one of my agents. She has her third kid's on the way. She has a painting business she just started, which I hope she does well. But I'm like, girl, you got to make money. Like, you got to make. So we came to a plan that she's like, but I don't want to drive 45 minutes to the office every day. That takes up time. Or you schedule your calls during those 45 minutes so you get your mindset right. So when you show up in the office, you crank. So again, it just gives you that quality time. And I feel like when you have that quality time, people don't leave you because you're invested in them personally and professionally.
Yeah, I think that people, they neglect their agents unconsciously, right? And then they end up dealing with a squeaky wheel, and because they haven't set a schedule to meet with them and things like that, they get ignored. That's why people leave. Most people leave because they don't feel cared about, not because of the commission splits. What would you say are some of the biggest mistakes that team leaders make in their one-on-ones? Like, what will absolutely wreck a one-on-one and make them terrible for you or the agents?
I think browbeating. I think beating people down. Like, this is what you're doing wrong. If you actually, Wayne, you do a great coaches training. I'm sure there's going to be a link in here somewhere where people can come and learn how to do that, which I took from coaches training on just how to have better questions. And so my question is not to beat up. They know their sales are down. They know they haven't sold anything in 4 months, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've got a couple agents that are slow first start. Now they're top producers. It's just one of those things. I'm not going to come in there and be like, what the hell are you doing? What's happening?
No.
Like, hey, how do you feel about this? Okay. Like, not good. Okay. Like, what can I do to support you to get this back on track? What do you need from me? Processes, people, systems. And I offer it. Now, if we meet again next month and nothing has changed, I'm like, hey, what didn't you like about that process we put together? And again, if they're producers, they know what's going on, And so,
and I think your job is not to beat them up, but your job is to bring awareness. And that's what you're doing. You're creating awareness for them. And I think great coaching is usually a dance between care and candor. And care is, I really, really care about, I get you. You're a single mom with 3 kids. The candor is, these activities are not paying the bills. So we need to look at, in your real life, being a mom with 3 kids, what could you do that's actually going to help you create the income? And I think that's what people go, and this is, I think, what you and I are very passionate about, helping people with this dance, because most people err on one side or the other naturally. They'll either way over care, which my coach called me out on and said, Wayne, you're loving people to failure. I was being way over caring and not having enough candor, right? And then there's other people, right, where you can be way over candor and you just end up beating the crap up out of people. And it's pretty hard to go do really inspirational, amazing stuff when you just feel like crap all the time. So it is a dance. And I agree with you that, I teach several different methodologies of that meeting, which is great. And then you have the actual meeting, right? So it's like, hey, here's the plan, and I'm going to internalize the plan so that when I'm in the meeting, I can actually bob and weave to who that person needs. Because if they walk in and go, hey, my father just passed away, we're having a different conversation than just the bulletproof plan.
Correct.
They walk in, they're crushing their goals, but they haven't taken their wife on a date in 6 months. Like, we're going to have that conversation, right? So it's like, be prepared. It's a balance between don't wing it, but don't be so rigid that you can't have the conversation. I think when you learn the methodology, then you can be present in those conversations.
Yeah, and I mean, the good thing about these one-on-ones, which a lot of people don't, they're like, it's not worth my time. Like, it's not worth my time. Okay, that's fine. Not worth your time. It's worth somebody's time. So as a sales manager, like, if it's not worth your time, then that means you're so big that you need somebody to come in and do it for you, which is fine. But also, like, you have a cadence. Like, you look at their calendar, like, hey, do you have any vacations coming up? And I just had one last week. He's like, yeah, I'm actually going from Wednesday to Sunday. I'm like, oh, perfect. We need to pause your Zillow. Hey, what clients do you have coming in? Let me know. Copy me on the email in case they want to go see something. I'm not going to show them, but I'll make sure they're taking, like, we have a process. But this is the full circle moment. When you do that training in September, the fall training, it says what their goals are. And your training, your Epic Life Planner, is not just about numbers. It's like, what do you want your health to be? What do you want your social life to be? Like, you have like 12 different things. So that's when I can bring it back to help and go, hey, you haven't sold anything in 4 months. How is that helping you take your kids on the vacation that you wanted? Hey, how is that helping X, Y, and Z? Or same thing, dates, whatever. But it allows me to know more about them, not to use it against them, but to use it against them for them, like call out their bullshit. And they're like, you're right. I do want to do that. We can still get back on track. Like, tomorrow's a new day. Let's go.
Yeah.
So that's the retention, right? You retain people. It's a lot cheaper than getting new ones. The last one we do is Monday mornings. I do training. So if you're newer to my company, within probably 2 years of actually getting in the business, we have a Monday training, 9:30 via Zoom, via whatever it's Google Meets. And we go over a topic. And then we go over like, hey, what are you seeing in your business? What do you need help with? What was a weird contract thing? And here's a fun little hack that I did. And you could change up a little bit. I went through and made all the training things I want to talk about. These are not on, it's like different types of HVACs. Hey, what are the different types of walls inside of a house? Different styles of house, calendar, contracts, multiple offers, like all the little stuff that people need to know. I AI'd a lot of it just to get the framework, but I went in and touched it up. Now, I'm fortunate enough that I have a full-time in-person marketing person as well as a whole team. So I had her take those and make them into slides. And she knows they're in there made, or you could get someone on Fiverr, or you could hire somebody to do that, but they're made. And so it's a 2-year loop for me. So every week I know which one it is because it's already planned out. My agents don't come after 2 years. And so I'm constantly teaching the same thing every 2 years. I don't have to think about it, but it's important, very important.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. And then I think the other thing that you've begun to tap into is things outside of yourself too, right? So it's like, hey, Wayne's got this call each week, or hey, because of our EXP family, hey, you want to get great at this, man. We have a guy that's best in the country that teaches on it every Tuesday. Like, go take his stuff. So I think you've also become kind of the Sherpa of your team, where it's like, you don't feel like you have to have the answer to everything, but you need to be the connector, right? It's like, hey, read this book, go take this call. Hey, we've got a resource for that. So I think that's a big part of this as well. It's not feeling like you have to be everything to everyone, but you do need to have your pulse on it, right? If Joey said he wants to buy 10 rental properties, you need to keep up on that and make sure that he met with the financial guy, make sure he read the book, make sure he's taking the course, all those kinds of things, which I think is really important. So my challenge to everybody that's watching this is write down your annual cadence. What do you want to do annually? What do you want to do monthly? And is there anything you want to do weekly? And figure those cadences out. And then something we'll talk about on another episode at some point is the care and feeding plan of agents and what you can do above and beyond just the meeting to take care of them. But I think that you need to have a system and a process to all of this so you're not winging it. And it takes a lot of stress off. Hey, every second Tuesday, we're doing this. Hey, this time in the fall, this time in the spring, very, very helpful. So yeah, any parting words, my friend?
It's going to be a little harsh, but I would argue that if you can't put the time and energy into doing this, you don't need to have a team, right?
Absolutely.
Like, you just got friends that hang out. So you may have to take a day a month or a week a year and really plan this out and have it, because why are people going to follow you if you aren't somebody they want to follow, right? Like, you're not giving them any value. You're not caring about their business because you're worried about your business. Like, what makes you not better than them, but what makes you a leader compared to them? So be a leader and do it, or hire somebody to do it. I don't care if you do it yourself, but if you're not, you're doing these people a disservice. You're leading them down a path that they think they're going to get better and learn from you, and you're not doing shit for them. And that's not fair.
Absolutely.
Hey, real quick, if you're liking this content, imagine having a full day immersed with people that are on this, like us, that are learning from each other.
Man, we do these kind of events, these intensive, a couple times a year, and if you know that you are the smartest person in the room and you need to get in some other rooms, this is the place to be, right? So apply, send us a message right now, we'll send you the application link, and see if you are the right fit to be in one of the rooms.